Hello English 10 students, this is Miss Long and I am here with a new unit's worth of material. But I first want to say good job last week. It was kind of crazy with a lot of things going on, and I heard the comment from several students that they were feeling a little overwhelmed by online learning. And I just want to reassure you that it really does get easier, especially if you're new. You get used to the tools, you get used to the rhythm. Give yourselves a little bit of time. So, busy week. Hope you had a really good weekend. Gorgeous weather. We're not going to have too many more days like this, so let's enjoy it. I myself had the pleasure of going camping with a number of Cub Scouts from my son's Cub Scout pack. And the highlight of the weekend, or non-highlight, depending on how you look at it, was when a bunch of 10-year-old boys decided it would be a good idea, for some reason, to cut down a dead tree. And that's exactly what they did. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but it was kind of a little bit of an adventure. Anyway, that's not why you logged on. I want to walk you through this first session so you know what you're expected to do and so you can get started. So when you come to Unit 1, Session 1, that's this for the dates of August 24th through August 30th, you're going to find a list of the pages that you're going to be doing. And as always, I recommend that you start with the first page and go in order, but I'm going to hit kind of the highlights here. So the first thing is our unit. Our unit is about lots of different things, including using good reading strategies to improve your comprehension and exploring some universal topics or ideas like love has been the same idea for hundreds of years, centuries, millennia. War has been around for a long, long time. And looking at how those ideas have changed and are represented in different kinds of literature. We're also going to be working on vocabulary and learning new words in context. And this unit will culminate with an online book presentation for your peers. And more on that in future sessions. So these are the assignments that you're going to be working on this week. The first one is simply to practice looking at feedback on your assignments. And that will look back at last week. Then we'll have a discussion on what makes a book worth reading. If you've got millions of books on the planet, how do you decide which ones are best? Some teachers are just diehards for classics. Others will teach contemporary literature. How do you decide which books are really important for you to read? You're going to give me your schedule for the book that you have chosen. You're going to do a weekly journal on the background of your author. And then you will learn how to add 2 vocabulary words to a Wiktionary, which is a collection of words that our class will find. And here's a recommended schedule that I suggest you use so that you have an opportunity to keep up and stay caught up. So the first thing you're going to look at is feedback. And there's a video here that shows new users especially how to use Schoology to get the feedback you need on your assignments. And so I want you to go back to 2 assignments from last week. The contact information survey, where I really wanted you to upload an actual assignment, even if it was just 2 words, to Schoology so that I could add feedback in. And the other is the Introduction Week quiz. And in each of these cases, I want you to look back at the feedback and tell me what I wrote there. I made a comment about your survey comments. I asked you a question. Write that up here and submit it. Then go back to your quiz. Look at question number 15. Look for the question that I left there. Tell me that question. Tell me your answer just for fun. And submit that there. And that's your first assignment for the week. I will remind you that in your journal last week, you looked at establishing good habits, a particular habit that you're going to work on this semester. So while we're not going to use that for a couple more weeks, I want you to reflect on what you're doing and pay attention to it and really work hard to maintain that habit. Not for a grade, but because it's going to make you a much better learner. So your second assignment will be looking at the topic of important books. What makes a book important? It's worth noting from Google there's 129 million books in existence. You can't possibly read all of them. I think most humans would read about 5,000 books in their lifetime if they're literate. So how do you decide which ones are the best? And that is my discussion question to you as you look at some different teacher perspectives on how to choose what books for a classroom, or what the best choice is for a classroom. And then you're going to be posting on a discussion board with your own thoughts on how we choose books, what makes a book a classic, what makes a book worth reading, and some different questions here. Looking for a post of about 150 to 200 words in length for your original post, and then some responses to your peers. And just a reminder that you should make that initial post by Wednesday and then respond to 2 other people by Sunday. And that gives time for everyone to look at different comments. The third assignment will be to pick your book, which most of you did last week. You can change your mind for right now if you're pretty quick about it. But take the book that you've committed to and create a schedule by dividing it into 4. There will be 4 sessions for this unit, and so you're going to want to split that book up into 4 portions, and that's how many pages you're going to read. And I think I advise some of you to pick a book that is appropriate in length as well as in interest, so that if you're a slow reader, you're not picking something that's 1,500 pages, and if you're a fast reader, you're not just taking a very quick read that you really could get more out of. So you're going to create a reading schedule and you're going to submit that. The next assignment that you're going to be looking at is a reading strategy. And anytime we want to know a topic better, we want to build background information on that. So that's the strategy you're going to use, and you're going to find out a little bit more about the author of your book and what prompted that author to write your book. So you may not know this, but 1984 was actually published in 1948, and George Orwell just decided to reverse the numbers and make it 1984. But what was going on in this post-war period? And who was this George Orwell guy, and why did he decide to write it? What made Nicholas Sparks want to write The Notebook? Or what part of William Golding's background and life experiences do we see in Lord of the Flies? That's the kind of thing that you're going to research, and then you'll write about it in your journal. So your task is to gather a little bit of information using some of the web resources here. And that includes Jefferson County's databases. There's a video here that shows you how to get that. You do need to have a library card, but you can get one on the site. And a few other sites here that you might want to look at. Wikipedia. Students often say, well, I thought we weren't supposed to use Wikipedia. Well, for detailed research, it's not a great source. But if you want to get an overview of your topic, it's a great place to start. Plus, there are resources at the bottom of the page. So if you go to Wikipedia and you get some basic information about Amy Tan, it's a good place to be. And then there's some other biography sites. You can also do your own search on your particular book. So you're going to get that information, and then you'll write it up in your weekly journal. Tell me what surprised you. Maybe you did not know that J.K. Rowling was actually on welfare before she became a multimillionaire. Maybe you didn't know that there was a true story behind John Green's The Fault in Our Stars. So give me about 6 to 8 sentences where you summarize for me with the URLs and the sources what it was you learned in terms of background information about your author and about the context of your book. Then give me your reaction. Did it surprise you? And based on that, what predictions can you make? What do you think this book is going to be about, given the author? How do you think it's going to reflect the author's experiences? And what do you think is the purpose for this book? And that's what you're going to add to this journal. And when you submit your journal, remember that you're going to use the same document that you did last week. You're just going to add to that single document and submit that link here. And lastly, your last assignment for the week is to be using vocabulary strategies for the reading that you're going to do. Lots of different words that we can come up with, and we're going to practice the strategy of replacing those words in the context as a means of trying to figure out the definition. So here's a video you can watch on trying to substitute words that are appropriate, using that to get your definition. And then you're going to be sharing those in a class Wiktionary. Wikipedia is an online collaborative project where people share information, and a Wiktionary is a similar tool where students are going to share a lot of different words and definitions. So there's a video here on how to go ahead and add that information, but you're going to pick out 2 words that you think are high school level, i.e. not words that my 5th grade son would know. If he knows them, they're probably too easy. And you're going to add them to that Wiktionary. And that will look a little bit like this. You're going to find the word, the sentence from your book that has that word, a replacement that you might substitute as a means of finding the definition, the dictionary definition, and a definition in your own words. And you will add that to one of the letter out brackets here. And by the end of the session, and especially the end of the unit, we will have a good collection of words that you can use in your writing and your reading to expand your vocabulary. And that's about it. So as you wrap things up, you'll want to just ask these questions. Can you find feedback on the Schoology assignments? Because you're going to be getting a lot of feedback throughout the semester, so you need to know how to find it. Can you think about the qualities of an important book, what makes it worth studying? Have you figured out a little bit about your author and your historical time period of your book? Have you learned 2 new words? And have you read 1/4 of your book by the time you get to the end of this session? And in our next session, we will continue reading and looking at other content area writings about the different subjects you're studying, like love and war and the individual and so forth. As always, if you have any questions, hit me up with an email or a text or call me, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, so that you can get the help that you need. Have a great week and be in touch.